The air is cold. The sun is low. The White House gates open slowly. A long black car moves forward. It stops. Cameras click. Journalists lean in. Notebooks ready. Microphones up. A moment later, the door opens. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy steps out. He is not wearing a suit. No black tie. No polished shoes. Instead, his usual outfit, a military-style jacket, dark pants, sturdy boots. The reporters see it first. A suit was expected. A suit means respect. A suit means tradition. But Zelenskyy, he is here as a wartime president, a man whose country is fighting. Inside the White House, officials are watching. Some shake their heads. Some exchange glances. One whispers, he didn't wear it. Trump knows. He heard about this hours ago. He didn't like it then. He doesn't like it now. The tall double doors swing open. The Ukrainian president steps inside. The walls shine, gold frames, bright lights. The heart of American power. Then footsteps, slow, steady. A door at the end of the hall opens. And there he is, Donald J. Trump. He walks forward. His blue tie sways. His shoes shine. His smile is tight. This is a moment for the cameras. A historic handshake. Zelenskyy moves first. He extends his hand. Trump grips it firmly. A pause. A test of strength. Then Trump speaks. His voice is light, but there is something else beneath it. Nice outfit. Volodymyr. Very presidential. A few chuckles in the room. A few raised eyebrows. Zelenskyy does not laugh. He stands tall, his shoulders squared, his face unreadable. He is used to pressure. He is used to cameras. But today, this is not about a suit. He meets Trump's eyes. His voice is calm. Even, Mr. President, my country is at war. Silence. The room is full advisors, aides, diplomats. But now, it feels smaller, tighter. Trump's expression does not change. He nods, just once, a quick, sharp motion. Then, with a wave of his hand, he turns. All right, let's get started. The two men walk down the hall. The meeting room waits, the world waits. But one thing is already clear. This will not be an easy conversation. The room is quiet. The air feels heavy. Eyes shift from Trump to Zelenskyy. From Zelenskyy to Trump. Did the American president just mock him? Did he mean it as a joke? Or was it something else? A test, a challenge. Zelenskyy does not react. He sits still. He does not smile. He does not frown. He has faced worse than this. He has stood in burning cities. He has visited soldiers on the front lines. He has spoken to mothers who have lost their sons. A suit is not his concern, but in this room, it is a symbol. Trump leans back in his chair. His hands rest on the table. His fingers tap. Slow, steady. He looks at Zelenskyy. Then he speaks again. His voice is smooth, but the words are sharp. You know, people say a suit shows respect, a little effort. But hey, maybe I'm old-fashioned. Some in the room shift in their seats. A few smile, a few stay still. Zelenskyy does not move. He takes a breath. His voice is calm. But there is something behind it, something firm. A woman coughs. An advisor shifts papers. The meeting must go on. Trump tilts his head. So, Volodymyr, tell me, what exactly do you need? Now it begins, the real conversation. Zelenskyy does not hesitate. He has rehearsed this in his mind. He knows every fact, every number, every argument. We need air defense. We need weapons. We need long-range missiles. Without them, we cannot win. Trump nods slowly. He picks up a pen, twirls it in his fingers. He does not look at Zelenskyy. He looks at the table. That's a lot. It costs a lot. And let me ask you. He finally lifts his gaze, eyes locking onto Zelensky's. How much longer do you think this war will last? Zelenskyy holds his breath for half a second. Then he answers, as long as it takes. Trump sighs. He leans forward now, elbows on the table. His voice drops lower, almost a whisper. Vladimir, I like winners. I like people who know when to make a deal. I like people who don't just fight, but also think. Zelenskyy's jaw tightens. His voice remains steady. Vladimir, I like winners. I like people who know when to make a deal. I like people who don't just fight, but also think. Zelenskyy's jaw tightens. His voice remains steady. Fighting for freedom is thinking, Mr. President. We do not have the luxury of stopping. Trump smiles, but it is not a friendly smile. It is something else. Sure, but think about this. Is there a point where you've lost too much? A point where it's smarter to sit down with Russia and talk. The words linger in the air. Zelenskyy's fingers curl slightly. His face does not change, but his heart beats faster. He speaks slowly, carefully. Russia did not come to talk. Russia came to take. Trump taps his fingers on the table again. Maybe, but every war ends, Vladimir. Every fight has a deal at the end. Zelenskyy shakes his head. Not this one, not on their terms. Another silence. The room feels smaller now. The air, thicker. Trump sighs. He spreads his hands. Look, I get it. You're a tough guy. You stand your ground. I respect that. He nods once. But let's talk numbers. What do you think American taxpayers want? Do they want to send you more money, more weapons, more aid? Zelenskyy leans forward now, his turn. They want to stop dictators. They want to protect democracy. If Ukraine falls, others will follow. Poland, the Baltics. The world will be less safe. Trump exhales, shaking his head. That's what they say. But you know what I hear? People are tired. They want America to focus on America. Zelenskyy does not blink. His voice is sharper now. If America stops supporting Ukraine, Russia will win, and when Russia wins, they will not stop. Not with us, not with Europe, not with anyone. Trump waves a hand, so dramatic. Zelenskyy's eyes darken. It is not drama, Mr. President. It is war. A heavy pause. The only sound is the distant clicking of cameras outside. Then Trump sighs again. He drums his fingers. All right, Vladimir, you made your case. He glances at his advisors. Let's take a break. He stands. The meeting is not over, but the tone has been set. Zelenskyy watches as Trump leaves the room. He does not relax. He knows this is not about suits, not about words. This is about survival. And the battle is far from over. He knows this is not about suits, not about words. This is about survival. And the battle is far from over. Time to shake hands and end it. The words hang in the air. They do not move. Zelenskyy does not blink. His shoulders tighten. His hands grip the edge of the table. His voice is clear. We do not negotiate with those who invade us. The room is silent. Not even the advisors shift. Trump tilts his head. His expression is unreadable. Then he sighs. Well, Vladimir, I do business with everyone. Zelenskyy's jaw tightens. His heartbeat is steady but faster now. His country is not a business. His people are not numbers on a page. Trump's voice is smooth, almost casual. Every war ends, doesn't it? They all do. Eventually, someone sits down. Someone makes a deal. He leans forward. Why not now? Zelenskyy breathes in slowly. His voice remains strong. Because a deal with Russia is not peace. It is surrender. Trump raises an eyebrow. So, you're saying there's no way out? Zelenskyy shakes his head. There is only one way out: victory. A soft chuckle escapes Trump's lips. He shakes his head, amused. You're a tough guy. Huh. Zelenskyy does not answer. He does not need to. Trump shifts in his chair. His tone changes. Look, I get it. You don't trust them. But what if there's a way to stop the fighting? A way to save lives? Zelenskyy's fingers tighten slightly. He has heard this before, the idea of peace. The promise of an easy way out. It is always tempting. But it is always a lie. He exhales. Saving lives means stopping Russia. Not making deals with them. Trump watches him. His fingers drum against the table. A slow, steady beat. You ever think you're fighting a war you can't win? Zelenskyy does not hesitate. No? The answer is final. Trump leans back again. He studies the ceiling, then glances at his advisors. He lets out a long sigh. You know, some people would say you're being reckless. Zelenskyy's eyes darken. And some people do not know what it means to fight for their country. Trump smirks. Fair enough. An advisor clears their throat. Papers shuffle. The silence is broken. Trump straightens. His tone sharpens. All right, tell me this. What happens if Russia doesn't stop? If this war goes on for years, what then? Zelenskyy does not hesitate. Then we keep fighting. Trump exhales sharply. For how long? Zelenskyy's voice is calm. For as long as it takes. Trump shakes his head. And if you lose? Zelenskyy meets his gaze. His voice does not shake. We will not. A pause. A heavy, unbreakable pause. Trump watches him. His lips press together. Then he exhales. You're really all in. Ha! Zelenskyy nods once. Yes, the room is still. The air feels thick. Trump rubs his chin. All right? Let's say we keep sending weapons. Keep sending money. What's the guarantee? What do we get? Zelenskyy leans forward. His voice does not rise, but it is filled with purpose. A safer world, a future where dictators do not win, a future where Russia does not decide who lives and who dies. Trump exhales. He nods slightly. Big words. Zelenskyy does not move. True words. Trump looks at his advisors again. They whisper among themselves. Some take notes. Some wait. He looks back at Zelenskyy. His tone is thoughtful now. So, no peace talks, no deals, no stopping. Zelenskyy's voice is steady. No stopping. Trump sighs. He runs a hand through his hair. All right, a pause. Let's see what we can do. The meeting is not over. But the conversation has changed. The lines are drawn. The decisions are not easy. The war is not finished. The fight is far from over. Before we begin Chapter 6, a quick note for our listeners. You're currently listening to this audiobook on WooEnglish. Remember, this content is specially made for WooEnglish listeners only. If you're hearing it on any other channel, it may be a violation of WooEnglish's rights. Please ensure you're tuned into the right source to fully enjoy and respect this audiobook journey. The afternoon sun shines on the White House lawn. A podium stands ready. Microphones are in place. Reporters adjust their cameras. The world waits. A press conference is scheduled. Leaders should stand side by side. Words should be spoken. Promises should be made. Inside, the mood is different. The meeting has not gone as planned. Tension lingers in the air. Voices are hushed, but the urgency is clear. Aides move quickly. Phones buzz. Papers shuffle. The energy is restless. Trump stands near the long wooden table, his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Zelenskyy remains seated. His hands rest on the armrests of his chair. His posture is firm, his face unshaken. Across the room, an advisor leans in. A whisper, just loud enough. Cancel it. The press secretary nods. The decision is made. There will be no joint statement. No photos of unity. No words of agreement. Zelenskyy watches them. His jaw tightens. He unfolds his arms and sits forward. His voice is clear. This is a mistake. Trump grins. His head tilts slightly, a familiar smirk forming. Sometimes silence says more than words. The room is still. Advisors wait. Aides exchange glances. The air between the two men remains thick. Zelenskyy exhales. He knows what this means. No statement, no speech, no public show of support. The cameras outside will see an empty podium. Reporters will ask why. The world will wonder what went wrong. Trump turns to an aide. Tell them something came up. A hand waves dismissively. It is over. Zelenskyy stands. His movements are slow, deliberate, his hands clasped together. His voice remains calm, but there is steel beneath it. If you do not stand with us, history will remember. Trump's grin lingers. But there is something behind his eyes now, he shrugs. History remembers a lot of things. His voice is casual. To casual, sometimes it remembers winners. Sometimes it remembers mistakes. Zelenskyy does not react. He has nothing more to say. Words today would change nothing. Actions already spoke. The door opens. Aides move to guide them out. A hallway stretches ahead. Bright lights, polished floors. Footsteps echo as the two leaders walk side by side. No words pass between them. At the entrance, security stands ready. Zelenskyy's team is waiting. A final handshake is expected. Cameras are positioned, even if the press conference is gone. Trump stops. He looks at Zelenskyy. Good luck, he says, his voice light, almost amused. Zelenskyy meets his eyes. We do not need luck. We need allies. A pause. Trump nods once. We'll see. Reporters shout questions. Was the meeting a failure? Did Trump refuse aid? Why is Zelenskyy leaving without speaking? There are no answers. Away from the White House, away from the empty podium, away from the words that were never spoken. Inside the car, he exhales. His gaze remains fixed ahead. There is no time to dwell, no time for frustration. The fight is not over. The war is not won. The White House fades in the distance. The questions remain. I hope you enjoyed the story. Make sure you subscribe and like our video for more videos.